Hey friends, what's up? Welcome or welcome back to the channel. I have my overhead light on. It has just been a really dark and gloomy day. We're in the middle of like a rain slash snowstorm, so it is what it is. I hope you don't mind. But in today's video, I am going to be helping you, guiding you through some really easy things that I personally do to productively prep for the new year when it comes to like setting goals and just feeling like you're having a really good fresh start to a new year. And I am also going to implement some tools that I've talked about last year or this year. We're still in 2022, but things like Google Calendar and Google Keep, I will implement into these tips so that you can actually use those videos that I talked about, Google Calendar and Google Keep and stuff like that, and have it still be useful in the new year. So let's get right into it. Okay, so I think it goes without saying that tip number one is to prepare for the new year in the previous year. So right now is the perfect time to start preparing for the new year. We have a couple of weeks left in December, in the last month. So now is the perfect time. So that's why this video is going out right now. But it's just really good to have this all prepared. Like, you had your whole reflection and you thought about all the things that you want to work on in the new year now, so that come January, you're not scrambling to get that stuff done. I do this to myself all the time and it's a huge mistake. I especially did this year where I spent most of January just preparing for all the things that I wanted to work on in 2022. And by the time it was the end of January, I felt like I lost a month, and I did lose a month. So that's just a really easy tip right there that I think is going to help shape the rest of the tips that I'm about to talk about. Okay, tip number two is to reflect on the current year. So like I said, we're in 2022, reflect on 2022. And you don't have to do this specifically or only on your memory, like based off of your memory. You can go back to the notes that you've made, to the events that you've added to your calendar. So this brings in Google Calendar. You can go into your Google Calendar and scroll back throughout the entire year, see what your meetings look like, see what times of the year were busier than others. Why was it busy? Why was it not in other times of the year? How does that reflect on your goals and stuff like that? And not just in Google Calendar, but you can look in your Google Keep if you have lists that you keep track of throughout the entire year, or in your journal, or in your Notion, in whatever source and whatever planning tool that you use. Just scroll back a little bit. Take a dive down memory lane and see what was going on in 2022. You don't have to rely on your memory. And actually, this is what makes these tools super, super awesome, is that you can go back and see hard facts. What did you accomplish? What didn't you? And what can you learn? What lessons have you learned throughout the entire year and stuff like that? So have a good day to just reflect on all of that. And if you want, I do recommend making note of some of those reflections that you've made, whether that's like in your Google Keep again, or in your like journal, like pen and paper kind of thing. I think it's good. It's a good release, not just for like goal planning and all of that productivity type of stuff, but just for yourself. Now that you've reflected on the current year, now it's time to visualize for the next year. So this is where the real nitty-gritty of preparing for 2023 comes in. You're going to visualize your big goals, like big, broad goals. You don't have to get super specific just yet. That's what 2023 is for, but think big for now and just grab a piece of paper. I don't know why I keep reverting to that example, but I see that in my head. I visualize that. But like, grab a piece of paper and write a list, and it doesn't have to have a specific number of points, but just keep a running list of goals that you want to work on in the new year. And when I talk about like big, broad goals, you can be as broad as like fitness, you can be as broad as finance, whatever it may be. Be as broad as you want. Because right now, we're just visualizing. We're just looking into the new year and having some sort of outline that you can look at. Any kind of outline. It doesn't need to be nitty-gritty, like I said, because we're going to get into that in the new year. That's what's going to be all of the work that you're going to be working on in the new year. So keep it chill, keep it basic, make a running list. Like I said, it can be digital or not. And then once you get into 2023, you're gonna start plopping those things into your months, into your weeks and days. And that's where all of the work happens. That's where all of your efforts happen. And you make huge, huge milestones and accomplishments in every single year. So all of those details are going to hash out. Don't you worry. And if you want to get a head start on that, go for it. I might do the same since I have some downtime during the holidays. So if you want to get a head start and be ambitious, by all means, definitely do that. But once you have your outline, you can now go into your Google Calendar or whatever you use for, calendar tracking and stuff like that, and plop in some slots of time throughout the year. I like to do quarterly, which is like every few months or so. And I actually recommend doing quarterly because every month might be a little bit too overwhelming. But whatever you decide on, put those time slots into your calendar for you to hold yourself accountable. So those time slots throughout the year, you're going to sit down with yourself, or maybe you have a team, but you're going to sit down with yourself and look at your goals, look at the details that you have hashed out, maybe you haven't, and hold yourself accountable. How far have you gone in completing your goals? How far have you not gone in completing your goals? And how can you change that? How can you improve? And that is like the base, I feel, for me, in my opinion, of a really, really great organizing strategy. I don't know. I don't know if that's making any sense, but I just think that's a really good base for you to always hold yourself accountable and to always come back to your goals, whether, life happens. You might slip up on things here and there, and you might forget some goals here and there, but being able to come back and check in with yourself every few months is so, so vital. So don't forget to do that now, because you're probably going to forget in the new year. Okay, and the last tip, this is a really short video, but the last tip is to do absolutely nothing. After you do these other tips, now you do absolutely nothing. Take some time to rest. Rest is really, really important. I just recently had a conversation with some people, and they said, a lot of good things come from when you rest. Not just rest for your body, not just rest for your mind, but the creative juices start flowing and you get a lot of ideas and you start to have a little bit of a reinvigoration. Am I saying the right word? You get a little bit more of a spark once you have time to rest and reflect and give yourself some time to just cool down for a little bit. So don't forget to do that. That's probably one of the most important tips here, if not the most important tip. It is the holiday season. Definitely take the time to rest and do absolutely nothing. Spend time with your friends, your family, with yourself, with your pets, with your partner, whoever it may be, and just enjoy some downtime. And I think that's a huge sort of theme with my channel, is making sure that you put in those moments of slowness, stillness, and peace. And so highly, highly recommend you do that as well. And I will leave you with that last tip. Good luck with preparing. We have a couple of weeks, like I said, in December for you to get started. And I think that's more than enough time. I think these tips are really, really simple and accessible for you to get done in maybe a day or two out of these next 2 weeks. So good luck. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you want me to do any demos within Google Calendar and Google Keep and stuff like that. But I think those other videos that I have on my channel will give you some really great stepping stools to get started. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you in next week's video.